It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
We dropped our faces on this YouTube and on the other accounts that I'm going to also post this on. And it's been a busy time. It's been chocker. You may notice I'm in an entirely different room.
Yeah.
I'm in an entirely different house. We wanted to make a little video that's basically the final sort of hurrah, I guess is the best way you could say. I know it seems a bit self-indulgent, but I don't give a shit. Have you
I don't give
us?
a shit.
It's what we're all about. Hello, look who you're talking to. So yeah, because I know we dropped a sort of a bombshell, or at least I did, a couple months ago when we announced that the Valks would not be continuing in 2022. So yeah, we're gonna do like a little wrap up and a little shout out and touch base, I guess.
People were so stressed that like we fell out or something. I was like, no.
Yeah, the love is still alive.
It's like, oh my god, never.
The love will never die. Like, we're literally the second Phantom of the Opera movie. Like, literally. No. So, in terms of that, like, I set the Valks up a couple of years ago to give, she, her, they, thems a place to yell about stuff that they're really interested in and that they love, and help maybe writers who haven't had anywhere to write and sort of join up, give them some tips and get them going and just give everybody a home. And it was so good for such a long time, and we'd grown to sort of such a really lovely point with such a lovely community around us that it needed more than I was able to give it. And life moves forward, and the team, everybody's life changes, and I love that, and I'm so excited about all the new things everybody's been up to and new life that has been brought into the world. Becky had a little squad baby, which is the most beautiful thing. And yeah, so I am exhausted with pretty much the brunt of it all. So yeah, it's time for us to say, adios. We will still be at stuff, but it'll be as our actual selves and not as our not as our like superhero alter egos. It's going real Clark Kent vibes. And yeah, and obviously there was no ish between me and Dewey ever.
Literally impossible for that to be a thing.
She's my main bae forever.
Literally.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the future brings for everybody who was involved in any way. The creators that we interviewed, our contributors, our friends that we've made along the way, I never subscribed to that sort of like us versus them. It was all of us all together having a good old time. So yeah, I'm super jazzed and I'm emotional and I may weep, but we'll see.
Yeah, I did some winged eyeliner and I was like, why have you done that? You're an idiot. It's been a rough day. Anyway.
I like that you're like fresh on the back of Spider-Man cries. And you're like, I'm going to do big eyeliner for possible more cries.
What am I doing?
I know, I love it.
It's exactly like you said. I mean, obviously, this has all been your baby.
Our baby.
Our baby, our child. But it's very, very much been one of those things. I think I say all the time, there is so much that I and everybody else who is part of the Valks couldn't do without you and can do because of you. That's an amazing thing. And like you said, there's particularly in the industries in which we like to shout the loudest, I think it's really important to offer those platforms up to people that might not otherwise have them available, might not easily happen upon them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember, because obviously we met back when I lived in Southport, and it's very, I mean, I used to work at the gaming shop, and you used to come into the gaming shop, and
we had like a perfect meet cute,
the
like
meet cute
literally immaculate meet cute vibes. Yeah.
Also the same as mine and Mikey's, just to clarify. It's the exact same situation. But it's like that kind of sense of kind of community that was there, I think, is so important. And I think, like you said, obviously the friends that we made along the way and the work that we produced, and when you look back at like what happened, and like bear in mind, everybody, this lady, all off her own back, not a dime for anything, you know. Everything that she did because she loves it, because she wanted to do something important and bigger than herself and bigger than any kind of ego, because she doesn't have an ego. And that, I think, is hugely important, especially even when, you know, it's given us a platform to get other bylines that may have kind of like money involved, but you still kept true to your vision and what you wanted. And like, I'm just really proud of you.
I'm proud of you too.
I didn't do shit, but it's okay.
You did so much. You literally did. Yeah, you kept me down from that ceiling so many times.
We have scrapers and we scrape each other.
We do. We have like one big broom and we like bash each other to get down from the ceiling, for goodness sake. That. Yeah.
And obviously that all goes without even mentioning the fact that you've moved house. We have both nearly finished now. Master's degrees. Like,
yep, I have 3 weeks to go.
3 weeks. So like, yep. I moved at the start of the pandemic, so that doesn't really count. But like, I started and finished a master's degree.
Yeah.
You've started and very nearly finished a master's degree.
Yeah. And we've moved house.
Yeah, we've had some full ass plates.
And I got a new job.
You did, yes. You did.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's...
Oh, and we made a game.
We just made Rome publish an RPG.
Yeah.
No big deal. RPG, MBD. All right.
I love that. Why did we not make that like?
Why did we do that?
Why did we not do that as the main thing? Yeah. Shit. Yeah, we had a lot on, and I think the fact that there was so much extra stuff, and the fact that we have obviously undiagnosed ADHD and can't say no to anything.
Basically, yes.
Is one of the reasons why everything has come to an end. But it's like, it's a perfect end. It's not a sad end. It's not, you know, it's old enough now to go off to uni, and we can do the fun stuff we wanted to do for a few years.
Going on our Mediterranean cruise, bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Turn its room into a gym. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's happening. Yeah, and so we wanted to talk about like some of the things that we got to do and the people we got to meet and stuff. And I think the first one we have to talk about is obviously T-Bubs. T-Bubs,
yeah,
we love you
so much.
So I went, first of all, I want to say back in Time Has No Meaning, 2018, maybe. Where are we?
We're at the end of 2021, which is like to me.
Maybe the year before. When was the last one in Leeds? That's the first one I went to. And it was just beautiful. Like, what a day. So that's where I first met all the White Noise boys, who are a lot of the Vault crowd now. Still White Noise boys, but you'll probably better know them through that. And so many other people that I can't even think about right now. My mind is completely blank, but it was beautiful. And completely lost like what happened at that one. It was cold and rainy, but like It was
That's
the
fair.
first outing of like the squad shirt, which I'm wearing, my very original one.
You screen printed one,
the screen
right?
printed one. Yeah. So this is the very first one that we ever did. Still comfy as heck. So there was very few of these that we actually made. So I think there's probably only about 30 in the world. So they're
You did tote bags too. And my tote bag, before I was even like a team member, I got one of the black ones and I got a tie-dye one. And the black one is downstairs and it has my soup bowl in. I take it to work with my little...
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And then obviously we went to T-Bubs next year when it was in H-Gate.
Which was my first ever time going as well, which is weird to think about, but...
Crazy. So that was a beautiful time. I think that was my
amazing.
favorite. That was like my favorite one ever so far.
So far.
I'm saying so far because we will still be there next year.
Oh God, yeah, obviously.
Like obviously. But that was just like a combination of so many beautiful things. Like obviously we had no fears of anything because COVID wasn't a thing then, and there was no nothing. There was just boozy good times and the mega breakfasts.
Can we tell that story, or is that not for the airways?
Okay. Okay.
We're okay to tell the story.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So you might have noticed that Heather and I exude quite different energy, right? I'm like a tiny little kitten, and Hev's like the mama raccoon that's like aggressive but cute, right? But I'm just like tiny and ineffectual. So, it's like we're the definition of that picture of Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal, right? Where he's just like looking up at him and Pedro's got the bev, right? So we get to the Majestic in our fucking hoodies and comfy clothes, and it's this beautiful palatial hotel. And we saunter up, and I was like, hello. Can we check in, please, to our whatever it was, like Master Deluxe suite?
Oh yeah. So first of all, we got a mega suite just
like,
for
it
the
was
lols.
Huge.
Like we added the longest bathroom I've ever seen.
Like a runway. It was like a runway for a light aircraft, right?
It was.
And I go, oh, thank you. This one turns around, and she, sorry, can I just double check? Because the breakfast is on there, right? And the lady goes, oh, no, you've not booked it. And she was like, well, I did. I booked it through booking.com and it's got a breakfast on it. So, come on. I
said it much nicer than this. I would like to point out.
I was stood there like, oh, crikey, in a pickle here. So they hash this out, and she goes, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. I've altered that booking for you now, so it is showing up on there. And she's like, I can't find the email, but I did do it, We walk off, and she was like, oh, I didn't know we have breakfast. She goes, we didn't. It's like, it was a lie.
If I get arrested,
it was a ruse
because of not paying for breakfast, I'm gonna be so annoyed.
She just blagged it.
I would like to point out that I wasn't an asshole about it. I simply
very polite
that there should have been breakfast, and no one had replied to me when I'd inquired as to whether or not it was included previously. So in the lady's panic, she neglected to check.
This is one of my favorite things about you, is that you're so confident and self-assured. Because if anybody met me that weekend, I'm not.
Yeah, if anybody met George
that weekend
after a beer, they will certainly know how different we are.
You're a lot better at dealing with people than me.
I mean, the way I looked at it, we had a 50-50 shot of either getting free breakfast or I was going to pay for it. So
yeah, it was great, and you're a legend, and I will never forget that.
We did take so much with us, so we fed so many people. So it was really.
We took goodie bags around to people.
That doesn't make me sound any less like a mother raccoon. Cute, but always ready to fight.
Yes. Yes.
I wouldn't mind, but Georgie also bought me raccoon socks one year for my birthday.
I did.
I'm not
Stand
wearing
by
them.
it.
I had to check. I was going to say one of my absolute favourite memories is sitting all curled up on the big chair with Tom Woodman.
With Tom.
What an angel. Who casually was just like, oh, there's Kieran Gillen, let's go and say hey. And I was like, what a day. What a day. And also similarly, when we were at Midcon Party and Lizzo started, and we were nearly floored by Kieran Gillen, beautifully dressed, leaping out of the boys' toilets to go and dance to Lizzo.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It was pretty special. See, my Midcon memories are slightly more awkward because I'd had a few bevs. I don't think I could tell some of them. I remember our darling friend Ramvi, incredible bastion of art and writing. And the first thing I said to him was, I'm so sorry, you're so talented and I love your hair. And he just went, he said, you have to apologize for me being talented. And I was like, I'm sorry, I love you. That apology is never ending, and we've since had many human conversations since. So hopefully
did we interview him after that or before that?
After that, I think. And obviously,
amazing.
There are other creators that we met that I thoroughly embarrassed myself in front of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Ryan O'Sullivan, this is an apology for how I behaved, and I'm sorry for almost breaking your arm, when he was trying to have a conversation with me. See what I mean? She's the cool one. But like, if we can put the little videos, like seeing Matt Leggetti, the comic book Yeti, run up into Tom Woodman's arms like a tiny baby being cradled.
Yeah.
And it's just, and obviously those great pictures you've got with like Christian and Matt and people. It's just
there'll be some pictures going along as we're talking now. So there you
and
are.
Meeting people for the first time, like meeting Tony in person for the first time as well. Like it was just,
and Christian and Matt.
Yeah.
And who else did we meet? Lucy, very briefly.
Oh my god, yes, we did.
Super briefly. Who else did we see? So James Lawrence.
Yes. Yeah.
Emma Viacelli.
Yeah. Christian Ward.
Little angel. Oh, Christian, yeah, what an angel.
Yeah.
So many people, and I'm sure we've forgotten people, and I do apologize if we have, because like I said, time has lost all meaning, and also I've lost all my memory.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a special weekend. That was
yeah. And I didn't attend this year. We both didn't attend, but for me it was like
we like a bargain, like a deal. Like if one of us doesn't go, the other one doesn't go.
Like, come on, 2 for 1. Can't be like Heather and Georgie without Heather and Georgie.
Right.
So yeah, I'd literally just moved and I'm poor because I now own a house. So traveling on like 4 trains also amidst a pandemic was a big no-no. But next year I'm looking forward to really like carving out that time and enjoying it with, obviously, like I'm sort of like embracing masks as a part of my day-to-day life now. Like I'm just wear them on the train anyway. But it's going to be, there was no mid-con party and stuff this year, which I completely understand. And I think like the whole team was, did amazing with what the limitations they had in place and to keep everybody safe. But I want a more, no holds barred team-ups in the best way. That sounds really weird, but in a way that I mean is healthy and safe, not in like a weird
pervert.
Not in like a weird pervert way.
Team-ups after dark was what I was getting from that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? I think I'm really looking forward to it being something that we can do and not feel stressed, not feel anxious. It's like you said, like when you said you weren't feeling it, I was like, you know what, I get that. I wasn't feeling it's just not the same. I know there's going to always be like a special spot in your heart for like the first one, conventions and I think I would rather, in the words of Wham, if you're going to do it right,
Yes, definitely, 100%. I love that Wham has featured in this.
Of course.
So I think pivoting away from comic books, another, I don't want to say career highlight, but like personal highlight was a couple of years worth of London Film Festival.
Yeah.
I going down that first year, so I went down 2019. So that must have been because the next year was pandemic, so it was all in-house. And I won't get into the cost of attending these things because they're a very different kettle of fish and a different conversation for another time. But the sort of going down and being there and like that whole experience is absolutely like incredible. And that was like a lifelong dream fulfilled for me, like 100%. Like I didn't know where like the BFI was in South Bank because I'd never been there before, like so I had to ask like a homeless guy, and he very kindly took me to where it was. It's literally like under a bridge, so you know, get better signposts.
You tell them, you let them know.
I will tell you guys. But it was like a beautiful experience, and I stayed in a really creepy hotel, which was amazing.
I think you sent me pictures of this hotel when you were there, and it was horrifying.
Oh my god! Like I literally, like, no jokes, slept with like the chair under the door handle and my suitcase like on top of the chair. It was shady, I would say. And that's where I first met Tom. Like me and Tom went for dinner. And he took me out for bao buns in what was like the most intimate restaurant I've ever been in. So I met a stranger off the internet, a comic book stranger off the internet, in the middle of London, and he took me to this restaurant where we basically had to sit like knees touching, elbows touching, basically cuddling. There was like 8 people in the whole restaurant.
You should be on a true crime podcast.
This is not. Luckily, Tom isn't a murderer, or he didn't.
Luckily.
Feel like murdering me, I don't know, whatever, you know.
Don't be offended.
And that was good. And just that whole experience is incredible. And then I mean, y'all know my feelings on screeners and everything being in London and how, you know, inaccessible that is for so many people. But the next year, which was pretty much entirely virtual.
It was, yeah.
I understand, you know, you've worked really, really hard. You want that experience that you've grown up being in love with. Like, I don't think there's any filmmakers who don't love cinema. And I think, obviously, the golden age of cinema, what it used to be, the prestige and the lights and the curtains and whatever else, like, time has moved on. And I know that, and I love cinema. Like, I love the whole experience. I love everything about it. But there is a time and a place for a more accessible, more digital, especially critic experience, I guess is probably the right word. Because like I don't know of any leaks really from that particular LFF.
I don't.
Like I didn't see any outcry, you know, any big thing. And it's always really well organized, and it's always really like easy to do and get set up. So by that point, me and G were separate parts of the country.
I know. I moved in August. It was in the October, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we did virtual screenings, virtual screenings. So we we latched it on our tellies.
I cast you to the TV. We'd have each other on Zoom on our laptops or something.
Yeah.
Other video calling platforms are available.
Yes, they are. And we still do that now. We did that.
We did that the other week.
We did that with The Descent recently. What did we watch together? Shirley?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Obviously, when you're streaming a festival kind of thing, it's not going to be without its issues. And I had to dip out of Shirley. Do you remember? But that's because our house is in fucking Mordor and there's like no internet. It's just bollocks here. I'm not happy. But yeah, like, so that's not on the LFF. There were a couple of films I know they had issues with, but I think honestly,
but things like screening times, you know, they extended and
they were really good about it.
Like they were really like on it.
I still flex. I'm like, Oh yeah, another round. Yeah, I saw it as a screener at the
Yeah,
film
we watched it on
festival.
the festival circuit. So get up. Yeah, and things like Flair as well. So
Yeah.
BFI, sorry, do the LFF in the October normally, and then they do Flair, which is the LGBT sort of orientated festival, which is normally in February. We covered that for a couple of years. That is mostly online, sort of as standard. It's a bit smaller. Which needn't be, but it's also it's really good. I watched some incredible films through Flair, like really genuinely like beautiful pieces of cinema. So that was definitely a highlight. I would like if I was to like bump into my film tutor from college, I'd be like, Donna, this is what I did like several times. Aren't you proud of me?
Yes, I am. I'm not Donna, but I am.
Thank you. I sometimes see her in the Sainsbury's and I'm like, Donna, what a babe. But I also realised it's been like 10 years since I went to college, so I don't approach it.
No, that's valid.
Change it to a different aisle. Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to bring us on to other things that I've loved and people that we've met in terms of film accessibility, because obviously our beautiful, amazing, fantastic friends at Davy, with the kind of like Manchester screenings of films that they put on that we get to go to.
Oh my god, yeah, they were so much fun.
And we've met so many people like in person through that too. You've got Emily, Tom, Cameron, Eamon, so many people. I know, yeah. I need to talk about Spider-Man, bro. Come on.
yeah, absolutely. So we got an invite one day to this really bougie hotel. We went on like a Monday night and we went into the basement.
Matt's always in tow to drive.
Yeah, we made my partner Matt drivers, bless him. He's also being dragged to the My Chemical Romance concert next March, much to his absolute delight.
Mikey was like, "Oh, can I come?" I was like, "Yeah, you div, you're fucking driving us." Yeah.
How do you think I'm going to get there? Yeah. So the M&Ms can stand at the back. Me and Georgie are gonna go cry.
Yes.
But yeah, so we went to Manchester, and we would be ushered into the basement, where there would be like a plethora of snacks and goodie bags, and then we would watch like an excellent movie, and there'd be like a little panel, and it was so fun because it was like, what did we watch? We watched Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
We did Batman, and
we did Batman.
Yeah, and I think we did another one, but I can't remember.
Did we do something to do with, or just the memory of it that stands out in my mind is there was like a raffle-y game, right? And we had to ask questions, and I answered a Batman question right because I love superheroes. Do you remember that Ghostbuster
toy? Yeah, you
toy?
and the Slimer.
Yeah. I've got a really blurry picture
of us walking it holding hands
after a couple of cocktails with holding hands with this little Slimer toy, but it's incredibly blurred. So it's just its face. It's incredible scenes. Yeah.
Maybe it was only 2.
Maybe. But it's just, they're so well done. They're so well put together. You can tell like the love that goes into it, because I remember for the Jurassic Park one, obviously like my favorite film, Mark Bell was there. And we got like the limited edition prints that he made, which is still up in my bedroom, and I've got his BoJack Horseman one as well.
Oh, nice.
And it's just the people. It's so nice to be around people that care so deeply about what they're doing. And I think having that available in Manchester and having that kind of like hub up north for things, and obviously we'll come on to our Jump Cut buddies too, speaking of hubs up north for stuff, it's just so refreshing, because London is not accessible for everyone. If you don't live there, you got to travel there and then stay there, and the cost of that is just extortionate. And I think if you can decentralize these things, that's why I love the fact that Thought Bubbles in like Leeds or Harrogate. It's and that's where we meet all these amazing people at these events. Just
definitely. As I said before, it was never a sort of us versus them. It's always been a sort of we're all in this together. Not to sound like the end of like High School Musical.
We know that we're all stars, and we do see that we are all in this together.
There we go. So obviously, there's people like Jump Cut and all the amazing team there. There is Ben and the X Geeks.
Yeah.
Beautiful angels. Obviously we mentioned Matt and the comic book Yeti gang. And like we have a Hulk.
Yeah.
All these people who are still going and still blazing trails and still like all the way through full-time jobs, families, kids, pandemic, life, absolutely just like knocking it out the park. And seeing them grow and flourish and go from like strength to strength was an absolute joy.
It is so collaborative. Like, we frequently like to go and shout on like the Horror Hangouts podcasts. We, you know, we've worked, well, I mean, the Jump Cut charity initiative was what gave us our other baby, you know, because that, for me, this is my, like, one of my highlights of my life, was the creation and production of our RPG that was initially created as like a little mini one shot for the Jump Cut charity initiative in 2019. When was it?
Last year.
It was like forever ago.
Yeah, I literally just got like a Facebook memory of me being like, where can I go? Where's the post office that's open past 5? Because I was trying to ship all the Kickstarters this time last year still.
And so it started from this. It's like, I've got all the notes somewhere from like planning it, and it just started as this little kind of one shot that we did with a group of buddies, and then became
I actually might have
an internationally shipped.
Yeah, nearly 1,000% funded we were in the end. There's the original Wendigo sketch.
Yes, incredible.
These are the notes that I was writing off Georgie's notes and off the game when I was in Wales. So there's my map of the location. And the missing poster.
The missing posters are next
that ended
level.
Up, if anyone who is watching picked up a copy as well, you will recognize the faces on the poster.
They're ours.
2 likely lads that you might know.
But yeah, and it's just, I'm looking back now because I know that there's a picture I had on Instagram. Here we go. So it was the 10th of July was when we did it very first.
Yeah, there she is.
With her sweet
Georgie
back then. Oh, thank you. So that for me is very, very special to me to be able to say that we wrote that.
We did do that, and I don't know whether this is like a spoiler, but you know,
I think now is the time.
Part 2 is coming soon. Whoop, whoop. So Fright Night Part 2, the one with the werewolf, is coming 2022.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe 2022.
Most likely earlier, to be shipped in time for Halloween.
Yeah.
But possibly not through Kickstarter. So
how
we'll do it, I don't know, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, because we've got some very, very cool. But this one's quite ambitious. I think it's quite ambitious compared to the last one.
And it is absolutely nothing like the other one in terms of mechanics. Yes, be very similar, but in terms of tone, absolutely not.
I would say
I think it's way more us than the last one.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think this one is very, very us. I think the best way to say it is, imagine if Back to the Future, Stranger Things, Jennifer's Body, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer had a baby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's quite like that. That's the vibe, but I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
You heard it here first, folks.
Whoa, exclusives. But yeah, we just wanted to sort of touch base and I think just like, you know, thank everybody for being with us on this crazy journey that we went on. It's been a beautiful time and I've had a blast getting to know everybody, and it's changed my life forever, probably. I mean, you know, forever.
Forever.
So, yeah, Like, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the support. And I'm not like a public crier, but I did cry the day that I announced we were closing. And everybody was so kind and, you know, so candid with their sort of feelings and stuff, which was nice, but not nice, because I was in the office crying. But it was a beautiful time. And yeah, and we'll be around. You know, you can find us on our own socials. And you can keep an eye on what we're up to. You can see Georgie taking the world by storm.
Oh, hardly. I am a public crier, unlike Heather. And I think I've cried at least 3 times in public today. It's not an exaggeration. I just saw the latest Spider-Man film. And like I said, it's changed your life. It's changed mine, because without it, I wouldn't have you. And like that's just unfathomable to me. It's just not. I literally said the phrase to Mikey earlier. I was like, Miss Curtin in the cinema with Hev, and he was like, I know I can never be here. And I was like, right.
At least you admit it.
Because he wouldn't let me buy a chocolate bag, and I'm like, well, I want snacks. And Hev would never let me be without snacks.
So for those that don't know how me and Georgia used to pregame the cinema, so we would go to the Italian that was like 2 doors down. I'd get a lasagna, and Georgie would get pasta and meatballs. We get 2
waitress,
cooks, and we would always have the same waitress who was an absolute angel.
So sweet.
And she'd always just be like, it's you two, lasagna and pasta and meatballs, 2 Diet Cokes. So we would scrounge the food, and then you
went in with Matt once, and she was like,
yeah. So I went in with Matt, and she
was
like,
"Who is this Matt?
Pasta meatball?" And I was like, she's not here. My pasta meatball is not here. I'm so sorry. So yeah, so we used to go. So we'd have like a full meal, and then we
irrelevant of time.
Well, okay, we're gonna say post 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we'd get Tango Ice Blasts.
Yeah.
And we would have already bought the snacks, which would be like either bags of chocolate like Magic Stars and like Whisper Bites or whatever, or most of Sainsbury's bakery section.
Yeah, 24 flapjacks.
24 flapjacks. Millionaire shortbread.
Before the trailers are finished, right?
So when we went to watch Endgame at midnight, which was seat to seat full, it was so sweaty in there. It was absolutely disgusting. We took a full box of tissues, pretty much each.
I'd squashed a loo roll and put it in my jacket.
That was it. I knew there was like I thought there was a toilet roll somewhere. Yeah. I had like a box of tissues, but you also had
classier than me.
We had like 4 packets of bakery goods.
Yeah.
Sainsbury's. And we were just crying and eating all the way through. We cried so much that we got like the filthiest looks from the fake Marvel boys in front of us.
We got Mackie's breakfast.
I was going to say we could talk about cats.
The Mackie's breakfast when we saw cats.
And the best thing about the cat showing, so it was 11 o'clock in the morning ish. So I was like, right, we need coffee ahead of this monstrosity. So I'd gone the Mackie's that was like across the road. And then I was like, well, actually, like hash browns would make this experience really good. So we packed a Mackie's breakfast. Bear in mind, it wasn't opening day or anything, so it was going to be quiet. We went in with our brews, and there's us, one old couple at the back.
They were so cute, yeah.
And then just before it started, like just before the lights went down, a woman arrived with her child. Yeah. And then they were just taking pictures in the dark with the flash on, like
running around.
You don't do that. And then the kid's like roaming. So we were like, put your kid back on its chair. And then sorry, well, I don't know. I can't remember whether it was like what was going on with it. And then we must be 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
And the child's just like, Mum, I need to poo. And then they left, and they never came back.
They just left. They never came back.
And that kind of sums cats up, I think, really. And then we went through this. I was going to say, we went through this phase of, I think 4 times in a row, we went to watch something, and someone came in late, and we went, they're in the wrong screen, and then they left within half an hour. And I don't know why it kept happening.
Pet Sematary was particularly good when someone ran out with her small children. What film did we go and see where we phoned Matt and we're like, you have to pick us up because we're absolutely terrified? Oh my God, The Invisible Man?
Oh, do you know? I think
because of the circus.
Because of the circus. So we'd gone it. So where our cinema is, it's on like the coast roads. We have like a beach and shit, and then there's like a big development of like a bowling place and whatever, and then across the way is like a big
common
field, big picture, a bit of green. So normally Georgie would walk back to where she was living and I would walk back to where I was living, but I would cut across this particular like green. So we'd walk there and everything had been fine, no circus, and then when we came out there was a circus, just like a circus, like a literal circus tent come out of nowhere, and I was like, no, do you know what, I don't think it was the Invisible Man.
What was it then?
It was something that wasn't that scary, but we were like really freaked out by the circus. So I don't think what it was. But yeah, so it was like 11:45, and we made Matt come and pick us up because we didn't want to walk past the circus. And then we watched Rocket Man, and just sort of like shook all the way through.
Literally, the only way.
We were like shocked by it all. That was beautiful. I think Invisible Man was the last film we watched in cinema together.
It was,
and that scene where she kicked the dog's bowl at the beginning, I honestly was like, I was almost out of the chair, out of the cinema, like in the sea. I leapt like out of my bloody skin.
Yeah, that's such a good film. Yeah, but that was the last one we saw in the cinema together. So
yeah, oh, it was such a good film. Yeah.
So I think everything's, obviously we would still do these things as friends, but I think the fact that we've been able to do so much through the Valks is a very, very special feeling. And it's a very privileged position to be in. And there is not 1 second that I have taken it for granted. And there is not 1 second that I have not been the most thankful person on the face of planet Earth to be able to not only do it, but do it with like my best friend in the whole world. So yeah. Thanks, fam.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you. 5 ever. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey. When we started, I remember being like, oh, we hit like 10 followers, and then it was like 100, and then it was like the next thing I knew, we had this community that was just the most amazing group of people who, like, I don't know how to phrase it other than just give a shit about each other. And that's like the main thing. Like, the world is hard enough, especially when you're like trying to create something. So that like support network and that like love that everybody has for each other is huge.
Yeah.
And just sharing in that was beautiful. Like, we interviewed so many incredible creators and got to know so many, and like got to the point where we can call these people like friends, and it was just like beautiful. There's nothing better than like when I drag my mum on our yearly Christmas shopping trip and I make her go to Forbidden Planet or Worlds Apart. Yeah, when we go like Worlds Apart, and I'm like, my friend wrote this, my friend wrote this one, and my friend wrote this one, and she's like, okay,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. She's really proud of you guys too. She loves it. And I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to say. I did write a list, but I don't want to read it out. It feels better just to talk about it this way.
Yeah,
I think we pretty much covered everything. It's been a good run.
Yeah. And thank you all for making it a good run. Making it a run and making it a good one.
Yeah. For people who don't really like running, we had a good go at it.
We did. We did all right, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been amazing to share in the joy and the excitement and the successes of so many people over the years, and just seeing all that, like I said, just flourish and grow and and there's people who are just destined to be huge. And I mean, we're gonna follow it on, and we'll be keeping an eye on what you're all up to, so you better be good. If you think Santa's threatening,
we'll wait.
We'll get you.
And that's it. There's that like fierce pride we have in everyone, and I think that's great.
Yeah,
you're all. I call all of you my friends, so you know.
Yeah, you're all my small. You're all my small creative children.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll see you in 2022.
Yeah.
Whether that be T-Bubs or maybe another Comic-Con, probably not. It's gonna be T-Bubs. It's gonna be T-Bubs. That's the OG.
Yeah.
If anyone from the Majestic is watching, please let us stay there again. I'm really sorry. I will pay for breakfast this time.
For legal reasons, that story was a funny joke. Funny Christmas joke.
For legal reasons, that was somebody else, not me.
That was actually not us. I have different hair now. They'll have no idea.
My hair's long now.
Yes, they wouldn't even know.
Who are we? Don't know. Who was that girl? Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future's gonna bring and where we go from here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pride. Like, I'm proud of you all. I am proud of the contributors and then everybody who made up the team. I am beyond myself with pride for G and just being an angel. And yeah, I'm proud of everything we built and everything we stood for and everything that we represented and stuff. And yeah,
you should be proud of yourself most of all, because it's all because of you that all of everything we just spoke about happened.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Before we start crying,
we're gonna go.
Yeah. All right.
So for one last time, we're gonna leave you with a peace out and be good and beautiful as ever. Glowing.
Right. Glowing.
Okay. Be good. Be safe. Be kind to yourselves and each other. Everything's been really hard, and we see you and we love you. And if you want to still send us your shit, you know where we are, and we'll still read it and we'll still champion the shit out of you. And yeah, peace.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.